all know of the concept of morbid curiosity, and we all sort of exhibit it in some sort of way, whether it's, when you're driving along and there's a car crash in the lane beside, and you just can't help but peek at it, even though, out of respect and privacy you shouldn't, but you can't resist just taking a look over at the flaming destructions. Or, people who spend lots of their time watching like true crime documentaries, or, reading on different criminal cases. It exhibits itself in many different ways, and I'm definitely someone who's quite morbidly curious. My thing that I'm filming this on is stacked atop about 15 books about various different gruesome murders, and I watch a shit ton of true crime. But it's a funny thing, and I know there's always and all this variety of different psychological studies going on to try and explain why we are so sort of we have that urge and that intunement to involve ourselves and our attention to these disgusting and vile, heinous things we would never want happening to ourselves. And I just kind of want to discuss that because we all know sort of the feeling of, ooh, that's bad, that's disturbing, but a side of you is like, yeah, but I want to know more. And I just want to discuss that here, so that's what I'm doing. Yeah, nothing wrong with it, it's odd, but it's not odd of you to do. It's odd that the body has this response to such things. It is intrigued and interested in such things at such a degree when it's disturbing. But why, we don't know. I'm sure some people scientifically, big brain experts know somewhat why, because of behavioural analysis and stuff, but we don't know, for certain, but we do know it happens. And, it's not harmful. If anything, it prevents harm, because, people who watch a lot of these things and binge watch, sort of true crime docs about crimes and stuff, are going to know how, what signs to avoid, and how, if they got into a situation where, there's impending danger, maybe something they saw on something might save their life. I remember reading a news story about someone nearly escaping getting kidnapped because they'd seen in an episode of Unsolved Mysteries, the same tactic the person was using. So when they recognised it, they just bolted, and it could have, saved their life or their dignity or whatever. So it's definitely not a harmful thing. It's a weird thing, but it's not a harmful thing. It's so odd that it's prevalent, and marketing and big companies that produce various things, you can tell that they definitely know that it is a big pull. Just look at Netflix and the amount of crime-based, horrific things they've produced in the last 15 years. It looks like one in every half Netflix originals now are about a serial killer or some crime. You've got that one about what's his name, Luke Mandeli or whatever. I don't know his surname, but the guy who killed the cats, or Dirty John, abducted in plain sight. The list goes on and on and on. So they know that these things get lots of views because people have that morbid curiosity. People click on them or watch them, and they're interested while being disturbed. It's a very funny thing, but it's present, and of course, as I said, harmless, but odd. And I just wanted to know why. Well, I'm making this, it's just discussing it basically because it's an odd thing, very odd. I think having it, as I've said, it's healthy-ish because it allows us to sort of experience these things without involving ourselves directly in them. It's like we learn from them, we feel these experiences, but we don't do them also. Because you ever get that situation feeling where it's like, oh, I wonder, I want to be in a police chase, but I don't want to get caught. I don't want to suffer consequences. I want to get shot, but I don't want to suffer consequences. I want to get stabbed. I don't want to suffer consequences. I want to get kidnapped, but I don't want to suffer consequences. So it kind of lets us live vicariously through in a insane sort of sense, and that's sort of where the enjoyment comes from. It's a satisfaction of the curiosity rather than of the experience. So it's definitely an odd thing, but it's prevalent and in so many people. So it must be, considering how common this stuff is among modern media. It is a major selling point in marketing. So obviously it must be something very common, which it seems to be. So that's my take on it. It's just we want to sort of know about these things, these bad, disturbing, disgusting, and vile things, without having experienced them ourselves. So we get so involved in, examples and exhibitions and descriptions of these things that they rile up our emotional instincts, but at least they don't hurt us and they don't, give us the consequences of, being brutally murdered by a serial killer. But we know how it happens, so it's odd. I've said odd so many times, but it is odd. It's very odd, but at least it's not harmful. At least we get to know what it's like without, getting our legs chopped off by, the Stan Hill Butcher or something. A quick end note, also, if you haven't seen Unsolved Mysteries, the original series from the 80s, and the new one that's just come out recently, very good. Just watch that. It's really interesting, and it's one of, my favourite shows ever made, so go watch that. Also, other documentaries you might want to watch, I'm going to freeze now, one sec. American Ripper in London is very good, and that's about it. American Ripper in London, Unsolved Mysteries, and maybe it's a book, not a show, but Murder in the White City, or something in the White City. Murder in the White City, that's a good one.